My name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I am a living Christ. I should like to speak today about that which is Christ consciousness and how and what effect it has upon the satanic, dualistic world of intellect that all civilized men and women, living men and women, who forgot their truth, the truth that they are living men and women. And as such, they opt for adopting the living dead status of a person, an idea imposed upon the dualistic intellect that they now worship as their God. Now, my videos are different, absolutely different from any other man or woman who speaks of spirituality. I'm talking of the gurus, I'm speaking of the priests, of the philosophers, of the intellectuals. They all pursue thought, dualistic thought, concepts and ideas that are representative of the energy of non-dualism, the energy of truth. And as such, they live in illusion. And they promote that illusion anywhere they can. The schools, government, religion, they're all based in intellectual authorities. It's all satanic. Every one of you who worships the idea of God is a Satanist. Plain and simple. You don't understand what God is. God is the energy of infinite intelligence. What does that mean? There is nothing that exists that is not of God. Even the Satanists, even you, are of God. But you choose. You're in a dualistic mindset, so you choose what is right and what is wrong. And what is that based on? It's based on your conditioning, your programming. Some outside authority other than you. You live in the world of the you and the not you. That's dualism. That's conflict, contradiction. That's what hell is all about. You live in hell. This civilized society that is based in the dualistic thinking of right and wrong is all based in satanic thought. God thought is truth. It is what is. It's non-dualistic. It stands alone. And all of the dualistic, satanic thought that rules civilized men, the government, the law enforcement, the judges, they are but satanic powers, lesser powers, fictional powers. And they have no power to rule non-dualistic truthful life, the what is. Understand? Truth will stand, and dualistic thought has no power to unsettle it. As you can see, I do not explain what is as plain as the nose on your face. I'm speaking of truth. It is what is. It needs no explanation. When one lives in truth, they live in the energy of non-duality, at one minute. That is love. You understand? When two duality become as one, non-duality, which is the whole idea of marriage, to come to a melding of the dualistic energies into that which is one. That's love, true love. And that's what marriage is all about. All this nonsense going on in this satanic world of duality, such as homosexual relationships, deviancies, absolute confusion of genders. They're full of conflict, are they not? That is the epitome of satanic energy, dualism. And you see that the world that you live in, this satanic, dualistic world you call civilized life, is really full of hell, full of conflict, confusion, contradiction. Oh, that's all you know. You've been conditioned since birth to become unbalanced, to become dualistic and seek power in a world that requires power. The rich and the poor, the powerful and the victims. Do you understand? It's all dualism, acting out. That's what hell is all about. I've just spoken to you truth. And that truth cannot be denied by you. You will deny it. But deeply within yourself, the conflict which rages within you just amplifies itself to you. You feel out of control. You understand? Why is that? Because number one, you're living an illusion. This life on earth that you worship so, the civilized life, it's all an illusion. It's all based in concepts and ideas, words, superstitions, feelings. They're not truth, because they're all partial. There's not a holistic bunch found within your dualistic thought. It's all need-to-know basis, based on ignorance, based on limitation. Very few of you are aware. Aware is that dimension of consciousness that is above intellectualism, found only through meditation. When one enters into the non-dualistic zone of consciousness, that's where you find truth. That's where you understand who you truly are. You understand? You're a God. You're the God of your life. Oh, all of you dualistic believers out there are going to rant and rave and blasphemy, blasphemy. You're merely reacting to your own definitions. You don't understand what it is to be aware. If you did, you would understand that I speak and I act in non-dualistic energy, and that's what you feel about my words, it represents to you in your conflicted intellect an altered state of consciousness to you. You try to achieve that. You set goals, but you never achieve those goals. Today, Sunday, the 25th of August, 2019, I listened to a man who comes to you, Mark Passio. Now keep in mind this. I'm not bad-mouthing Mark Passio. Understand? I'm not judging Mark Passio. I'm merely stating the obvious for those of you who have followed his words and followed his pedigree, knowing that at one time he was a priest within the Church of Satan. And he left that because he felt the pain of the energy within his consciousness where he could not continue on with his duties as a satanic priest. So he left it. He is every man who still lives within their dualistic intellect, but he has quite a bit of awareness about him. But he hasn't quite broken through, because if you listen to his energy, it's becoming angry. That's a result of frustration of speaking to people who believe that they are intelligent beings because they've been trained in schools. They've achieved certain positions in life that they consider successful, as opposed to being a failure. Well, success and failure is dualistic. It's satanic. That's how you're supposed to feel. You're always setting goals. You're always trying to achieve. You're always setting some goal for you to achieve. And that's what your life has become. A series of achievements, of growing in awareness, incrementally. Well, you note that I do not engage in any of the activities of most of these people who put themselves out as spiritual advisors, gurus. I speak now of men like David Icke, of Mark. Mark, to me, is very, very close to understanding, but his energy betrays him. He's still dualistic, and it's becoming to eat at his soul, his awareness, his calmness. I consider Mark a friend, although I do not, and I have not, related greatly to him, because there is a contradiction in our position. I am non-dualistic. My energy is non-dualistic. I don't fight with anyone. I don't argue with anyone. I merely show the way by action, by my life experiences. And I have gone through a great deal of testing by the authority, the satanic authority of government. And you can read about it on the internet, on my website, arkenterprises.com, and lisarayenterprises.com, or through the many search engines. You will see that all the powers of the satanic kingdom of hell have been impotent to intimidate, to control, to rule over this simple man of truth, this living Christ. What is the cost of it? What sort of tribute have I paid for living a life of love, of sovereignty, of holistic truth? Constant attack by Satanists, without exception. Even those few who agree indicates there's still duality going on in the relationship. They do not understand the truth or have the awareness, the direct perception of that truth as their own. That would be love. That is missing in all of my relationships with you. Almost but no cigar, because you're all searching. You're all spiritual searchers. And I acknowledge that. But we are not connecting. Because I am what is, and you are all engaged in the ideas that you hold, your intellectual ideas of what is. And so we're not connecting with one another. We're bypassing the energy. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying to you. And so what you hear is not what I'm saying. And I make no excuses for that. I maintain to my non-dualistic truth. And I say what I say, and I act as I act. And devil, take the hindmost. All of these teachers, these gurus, these advisors, spiritual advisors, are really still in the Satanistic intellectual mode of duality. And so they must explain to you. I don't explain to you anything. I merely show you where to look. And for you to be non-dualistic, to be truthful, you must find the answers yourself. To expect that I settle your anxieties for you by telling you, by explaining to you the energies that you do not comprehend, that's what you have been molded into through your years and years of academic conditioning. You've been told what to think, not how to think. And that is what faces the civilized world that we have made for ourselves by our actions of confusion and limitations and ignorance. A little earlier I said what had to be given up in order to come to the point of atonement, of holistic understanding, of non-dualism, and that is to live in truth, to harm no one, to tell no lies, for those are all found in the realm of dualism, intellectual dualism, hell. I had to walk away from my family, which was necessary for me to step out of the realm of dualism, of opposition, a fantasy world that they all live in, worshiping ideas and rules, man's rules, while they forgo the rule of God. Do no harm, tell no lies. That they find impossible. As a result, they are not of my spirit, and I had to walk away from them and continue on with the energy of awareness, of truth, and let them find their way without me. Now, in your judgmental, dualistic minds, you will all say, that's harsh, that's cold. Where's the love in you? You don't know what love is. Your idea of love is what you are referring to, and that's an illusion. That's a fiction. You are all fictional, living, dead persons by your own consent. And you agree to live in that fictional hell that you have created through your dualistic, conflicting, irrational thinking, rather than change, rather than transcend that dualistic realm of thought and enter into the non-dualistic realm of the subconscious mind. That you can't do! And you must ask yourself why. Because that's all you know. You consider what I am saying as being impossible, when obviously it's not impossible, because I'm doing it. But you're not paying attention to it. In fact, most of you are fighting it tooth and nail. You profess to want to change, but you want your world to change, not knowing that you are the creator of your world. And that makes you God. If you see and understand that in your subconscious mind, the mind of non-duality. But no, you remain in your satanically ruled dualistic intellect with its multitude of rules and formulas, all that sort of fictitious nonsense. And you look at me, and you say, he's a phony. Why? Because I'm not like you. That's a fact. I'm not like you at all. But you refuse to take a look at your life and see just how conflicted it is. And you get angry when you understand how simple my life is, despite all of the attacks that you would not survive by those so-called satanic authorities of government and religion, the authorities who rule your way of life, the hell that you live in. I have had 3 children, a boy and 2 girls. They all went the way of the world, and they continue to go the way of the world. The boy, dead, is dead now. He died of a drug. overdose? Was it suicide? Or was it an accident? The Nevada medical examiner was to get back to me on that, but never did, because they just categorize people as things, as products, as persons, whose evidence of life is only found under registration of birth. Already that should tell you that that is a fictional way of life. You're following some kind of rule based on paperwork created by intellectual control, satanic control. Your way of life is all satanic. And you get angry and frustrated at the core of your being when someone you perceive to be just like you, conflicted, confused, angry, violent, helpless, hopeless, and you project that. All you're doing is projecting yourself upon the world, and others in their projections are reacting to your projections. And what is the result? Hell speaks for itself. I have great hope for Mark Passio. He's still a satanic person, but he truly is working on it. Others who speak to you similarly are proud. They take their position of pride. And I know something that you don't know, and I'm going to explain it to you. There are the rest of the speakers who hold you hostage as satanic living persons. They treat you as fiction, and rightfully you are a fiction, living in a fictional world, and that is your life, identified by its limitations of birth and death. See, but who is dying? Who passes away? Does the spirit of God, infinite awareness, infinite intelligence, does that pass away? Clearly not. It is eternal. Well, so are you. But you have been conditioned out of that to believe that you are temporal. And you one day will die. The body will die, for it's material. The mind will die, for it's merely a computer that manages the material body. But the spirit of you is eternal. It defies the limitation of thought because it lives in truth. And that makes you eternal. And that's what you're really here for, to understand who you truly are and your purpose for being here on this earth. This earth is a hellish training system to transform intellectual, limited beings into infinite gods residing in their subconscious mind. But they must live in a balance. They're in hell, and they're in it. I'm in the same hell as you are, but I'm not of it. And if that's not clear to you by now, you're not paying attention. I have gone through the courts. I have experienced all of the violence and confusions that you experience, but I've learned by it. And each time I learned, that eternal spirit begins more and more to manifest itself as being the energy of truth beyond the attacks of the satanic intellect. So, I wish Mark well, but he is going through a crisis, as you have paid attention to his program today. He's becoming more and more angry. That's a crisis, a spiritual crisis. I've gone through all those things, but I have not lost my balance. And Mark, I perceive, is going through the crisis of his life, of whether or not he finally will step away from the dualistic thought he is so good at. You recognize that, and that makes him popular, because he is speaking your language, or you haven't got a clue what the hell I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hell that you live in. That's the truth. And you don't want to hear that. You have no choice in the matter. You either will shuck off the dualistic actions that create conflict for you, or it will consume you. Many of you will die in the months ahead because of this economic collapse. All that is the fact that you have not progressed in your life to understand what your purpose really is, and you have lived dependent upon satanic thoughts imposed upon you by satanic leaders. And they don't give a damn about you. They're in it for the money, for the power, for the prestige. But that is also what you're into. So when a man like me comes along and is different, markedly different, you just change that definition to suit your own intentions of self-survival. But what are you surviving from? Understand? You're surviving from the hell that you yourself have created by your ignorance. And I have brought you the answer, the liberation, the redemption from such ignorance. And that is to take back control of your lives out of the hands of those who make rules and laws that will punish you, put you in jail, and kill you if necessary. But that's all fiction. And you cannot conceive of the awareness that exists beyond the intellect that allows one to live and resonate with truth. That's what I'm here for. That's all I'm here for. I'm not here to save you. You're your own savior. I'm merely showing you the way. For I am the way. I am the truth. I am non-dualist. I am a Christ. No different than Jesus of Nazareth. For that's all he was a simple man of truth in his time. And he posed the same threat to the satanic authorities of his time that I do in this lifetime. But you all live in your intellects, and those intellects are dualistic in nature, therefore they're divided. And you must make up your mind with every thought that you hold, because thoughts are all dualistic. And you must transcend that to become whole once again, to become at one with truth. I have been demonstrating that to you. I have been showing you the way. That's all I do. I demonstrate. I expose the contradictions, the confusions of intellects that you all worship. And you don't like it one bit. Hell for you, isn't it?